Welcome back, everyone. I'm Tom Murphy, and with me today in our second segment is County Commission candidate Joe Richards. Joe, we're going to pick up where we left off. What are the three most important issues for the county to address?
Well, first of all, I think we need to get our own house in order. We have, I'd probably be a little redundant here, but we need a good, strong county administrator. We need to reorganize the courthouse so that people are coming in on time, know their jobs, and that courthouse is running efficiently. We need to work on the budget, and not just 2013. We need to look at 2014 and beyond that, and I'll elaborate that probably in a little bit. And then I think lastly, I think we need to work on the county's economic base. That's probably one of the most important things we need to look at right now, because we're not going to succeed as a bedroom community. We're only going to succeed if we have a little bit of industry and a diversity of industry, because the existing businesses need support, and the only way they're going to be supported is by tourism and by getting some industry here, so families can afford to take their families out to eat and to go to the movies and all the other things that we enjoy.
Okay. What do you feel the county administrator should be education-wise? Should there be some minimum requirements and experience for that position?
I think they have to have a strong management experience. Education to me is kind of it depends on the individual. I've had to drop out of college because my daughter was ill, so I only had a couple of years of college under my belt. So I had to work harder than a lot of people because that was a little deterrent. But once they saw my work ethic and my drive, I think it made a difference. So I think education is important, no doubt. Knowledge of the state statutes is very important, but your strong management skills and how to network and interact with people is so strong, and I think that's what we've been lacking for quite some time. Okay,
and do you think that they should do a nationwide search for the county administrator?
I think we should start in the state. As someone who understands Colorado and the unique attributes of Colorado, and I would see if we could find somebody in the state first would be my first preference. Okay. If it doesn't pan out here, then I think we should broaden the search naturally, yes.
Okay. On the budget, have you spent some time with the county's budget? Are you familiar with it?
I've been working on getting familiar with it. On the 2013 budget I haven't seen yet. I've just worked on my budget for my department, but I think in the next few weeks we'll be able to see the whole budget, at least as it's presented in its draft stage.
Okay. And going back to one step, you'd mentioned about people coming to work on time, at the county. You work as an employee over there.
Yes.
Is that an issue?
I believe it is. I'm one of those kind of people. I'm there a half hour before my starting time. When the clock strikes 8, I'm working. Everything's prepared. Phone calls, my messages are answered, so that when I start 8 o'clock, I can start making phone calls and proceed accordingly. I see a lot of people showing up, at 8, 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I don't think we can get maximum. We're not getting maximum use of our time with our employees. And if they're union employees, I think the union will have responsibility. I'm a union member,
right,
and I believe the union has responsibility to encourage its members to be 8 hours work for 8 hours pay.
Okay. Well, it's good that you're there and you know that this is going on. So this isn't somebody running for office that's never spent any time in the courthouse.
Right.
So the next question, you talk about economic development. It was actually part of my second question too. Is what is the county's role in attracting and supporting new industry?
Well, I think that's an open page. I think we have to create that. Statutorily, I don't think there's any obligation to do that, but I think morally and practically that we have to do it, because the county commissioners, we're one of the most powerful forces in the county. So I think we exude a lot of influence. So whether it takes going to meet with potential businesses, a meeting with state and federal representatives, whatever it takes to do that, we need to do that.
Okay, what about working with the city? We found out, I think, recently that the city is quite a vehicle for moving business along for us. Could you see working with the city hand in hand?
Oh yeah, most definitely we can see that. The upper hand they have right now is they have a 1% sales tax that helps businesses get along. We don't have any such revenue source, so it's a little bit more difficult for the county.
Now, I didn't ask the other two candidates this, but this is something that we've seen, and it's happened in Colorado. And maybe this is a new subject. What do you think of the possibility maybe of combining city and county? A couple places have done that. I don't know if it's in Colorado or the United States.
Yeah, Denver and the county up there, they're a, I forget the term off the top of my head here, but they've combined. I don't see it really happening here, honestly. I think we have every from mining to ranching and farming and everything in between. I think it'd be hard to combine those sources. So people have suggested it as a resource, but I think the complexity of our county may not allow that to happen.
Wouldn't it maybe simplify things though? Because one of the issues living in the city, of course, is we have a number of people in the county that own businesses in the city, and they complain because they pay, taxes, for the city, and they want to have a voice. But it's clear you vote where you live.
Right.
And I'm just wondering if it's something that maybe down the road that we shouldn't explore to see if those walls can't be knocked down so that we're one community instead of the city and the county.
Yeah, I think it depends a lot on lifestyle, frankly. I'd be more than happy to look at that and explore it, and if the majority of the people wanted that, we could surely push that issue and make it happen. However, people like myself, we moved here for the lifestyle.
Right.
And that's really not a major concern of mine. We don't want to be a Pueblo. We don't want to be a Colorado Springs. We like what we have here. We just need to shore it up so that we can maintain our lifestyle. But I think the difference in the rural life here, we're fiercely independent.
Right.
And it'll take a lot to pull all that together. So.
Okay. Last question before we take a break. With revenues, declining in the county, certainly it's hurt our road and bridge department. Would you be in favor of any sort of tax to fund the county's road and bridge department?
Well, I think that's a fundamental issue we're going to have to face here shortly. PILT money, for example, was $500,000 this year. All that money goes to road and bridge. The severance tax and stuff, that with all the miners and the oil field people going away, that we got $471,000 last year in 2012 for the employees of the oil and gas. They're going to be gone. And as you know, the mines laid off 370 people. So a bulk of that was in the county, and that hurts our revenue. So we're going to have to look at another source of revenue, I think, and whether it be a sales tax or whether it be working with the Tabor on getting our mill levy raised. Because as you know, as the assessments go down, everything, all the mill levies and everything go down with it. And when all the assessors' numbers go up, the mill levy doesn't change unless it's by vote. So the downside of that is not. I would be more in favor of raising the mill levy to a place where it was sustainable, where it wasn't hurting everybody. Everybody had a little share in the pot, and a few dollars a year, and make it easy for everybody to get around with that and be able to help support this. My concern is the PILT money right now. If we lose that, if maybe new administration comes in and they start making cuts, how do we replace $500,000 like that?
Right.
We can't. So we have to figure out. We have to think. That's why we have to think ahead of time. My initial reaction would be, if when I'm elected, is to go to Washington and get with our congressmen and senators and say what's going to go on with the PILT money. And if they say what's going to stay there, then get a guarantee on a certain amount of money from PILT, so that because that number fluctuates. So that we can base our budget on a solid number, and let's give it a 4 or 5 year time frame, so that we can start getting our arms around this. We can get with XTO and Pioneer, find out how many employees they're going to have, and we can fix those numbers. So there's some things we can do in a proactive way. But as far as new revenue is concerned, I think, in my opinion, the mill levy stabilization would help set it at a certain. I think we're a little over 8 right now.
Okay.
Take it up to a 12 or 13 or something like that.
Okay. Well, we have a little bit more time before we take a break. So, in talking about PILT, as people know, that's payment in lieu of taxes. And we're being paid that because of Pinion Canyon.
Correct.
They took the 230-some thousand acres out of service for the ranchers. What is your position on the U.S. Army's proposed expansion of the Pinion Canyon maneuver site?
Well, I think it's totally negative because they're just not communicating with the ranchers properly. The feeling I get, and I drive all over the county every day, so I get to talk to people who are part of the Pinion Canyon group and part of the Not One More Acre group and all those other folks, and I have not found one person yet that's in favor of the Pinion Canyon expansion. I feel that their 500-foot ceiling is too low for cattle, and my wife's an animal rights nut, so I'm sure that wouldn't be. We face a similar problem in Arizona with Luke Air Force Base. We encroached on them. They didn't try to expand. They were being encroached upon by urban sprawl. But they agreed to a 1,000-foot ceiling. They held to it, and they honored it, and the relationship remains good. We can probably keep a good relationship with these folks here, but I'm more concerned about losing the land. I mean, that's land where we can develop economic prosperity through the ranchers. I'm working with a guy right now who has 3 proposals he put together for ranchers in New Mexico and Arizona to have alternate uses for their land other than cattle ranching. We can make that an economic viable force. And the other side of the coin is we can also choose to leave it alone. There's a lot of history there. There's a lot of things that we don't want blown up or run over.
Right.
So I think we need to hold firm. This is our county, and those county lines are it's our property. It's ours. There's no thing in the Constitution says the government can own land. It's ours. And if we choose to keep it, that's our right.
A couple of questions. What are those other proposed uses?
Well, they go everything from specialized dairy farming. I haven't a chance to read them yet. I just received them the other day.
Right.
One was like specialized dairy farming. There's one for like a dude ranch kind of ideas. The other one was a hunting. There's one Navajo ranch in Arizona that gets $15,000 per hunter per kill. So, that could be a significant business here because we have an abundance of wildlife. And it just takes a little initiative and work on that. But I haven't studied them yet. I've just got them. Just like I've talked to a developer in California about putting some outlet mall here.
Okay. And Joe, one last question. Are we thumbing our nose at the military by telling them that we don't want them to expand? Is it unpatriotic?
Oh, absolutely not. I love the military. I'm a man of faith, and I pray for our soldiers and our president and everybody every day that God keeps them safe and from harm and out of harm's way. But we have a right to patriotism. This is our land, and a lot of the people here have been here for generations. They have a right too to their opinion, to their home, whether it's used for no use at all or whether they use it as productive. That's their right, and they paid for it, and some of them in their family's blood.
Okay. Well, this is a good spot, actually, as my alarm goes off to take a break.
Okay.
So we're going to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tom Murphy, and this is Trinidad Now on TTTV Channel 71.